And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Starting off with Sunday morning's flying weather out to the west there. We've got quite a band of IFR here over the western Bering Sea into the central Aleutians and into the eastern Aleutians as well, except on Alaska Island to the Pribilofs, St. Matthew Island, marginal VFR there. IFR from the Bering Strait right on down the southwest coast. Lower conditions in Bristol Bay, also some IFR along the southern slopes of the western Brooks Range. And IFR here with this system slowly coming northward with one branch extending right up into southwest Prince William Sound, another branch across Kodiak Island into Kamishak Bay, marginal VFR, much of the Panhandle. And for the afternoon, marginal VFR for the southeast coast, especially in the central and southern areas. IFR increases here along the North Gulf Coast, Prince William Sound. Otherwise, the interior, not too bad. Couple of zones of marginal VFR up there to the north. Otherwise, looking pretty much VFR right on down Susitna Valley, Cook Inlet, Bristol Bay, and then marginal VFR for the Bering Sea and Aleutians with some areas of IFR thrown in. And then for Monday morning, IFR, southeast Bering Sea down to the Alaska Peninsula. Marginal VFR for the Aleutians, and that extends right on up to St. Matthew Island. Nunivak Island, southwest coast, on up into the Chukchi Sea, VFR there. And then areas of IFR here along the Alaska Range and from Kodiak Island up across the southern coast of the Kenai Peninsula into Prince William Sound, maybe around the Talkeetnas here. And also a small area there just near the Porcupine River. And some IFR now for the northern Panhandle with better conditions south. For the afternoon, all those lower IFR, marginal VFR, it all burns off for the afternoon hours there with leaving VFR behind for all of the Panhandle. North Gulf Coast, IFR, mostly VFR here for the interior, right on down to the southwest coast, picking up some IFR right through here, or some marginal VFR along the southwest coast. IFR is looking at this big area of IFR from Adak right on up into the Alaska Peninsula into Kodiak Island. And for the passes, Anatufik and Adigan, marginal VFR. Tomorrow, Lake Clark and Merrill, marginal VFR, especially on the eastern entrance. Rainy VFR, possible marginal conditions east side. And for windy VFR, optimistically Isabel, VFR as well. And Montesta. Tanita back to marginal, and Portage IFR again with Chilkoot and White, VFR. Freezing levels again at the surface, kind of hugging the coastline here, all the way down to the Alaska Peninsula, then northward into the Bering Sea with 2,000 feet, not quite making it to the Alaska Peninsula, just grazing the east side of Kodiak Island, and then cutting down across Prince of Wales Island. And from there, taking a look at icing, with some moisture coming northward here across the Gulf of Alaska. That'll increase the icing potential for Kodiak Island right on up into Prince William Sound and the North Gulf Coast, and sliding down the coastline there in across Prince of Wales Island and Annette, Metlakatla, and those areas. Then another zone out here mostly affecting the eastern Aleutians, the western Alaska Peninsula, and the central and western Bering Sea. So taking a look at from here, the jet stream got westerly flow. This cold upper low now retreating back to the north and northeast. So around that, 70 knot winds. And then we've got, looks like 65 knot winds there out over the central Bering Sea area, mostly from south to north there, as well as the central Aleutian areas. Big upper level high there over the Yukon and the northern Panhandle. Flow around that anywhere from 65 knots out of the east-southeast off the southeast coast up to 90 knots there, blowing across the upper Yukon River Valley. 9,000 feet, southwesterlies, 35 to 45 knots with this low at this elevation there on the western Arctic coast. Pretty light here over the northern Bering Sea on down to the Alaska Peninsula areas, as well as the Panhandle. And 35 to 40 knot winds out over the central Bering associated with this system just north of, or off to the north from Adak Island. 3,000 feet, those winds stronger, but again, north and west of the interior from about the central Bering Sea here, right on up into the Russian coastline. To the south, the Aleutians, pretty light winds. Alaska Peninsula, not too bad. 40 knots for Kodiak Island, and it looks like 45 knots here for the North Gulf Coast, but light for the southeast coast. So turbulence-wise, this would be the area to look for. Anything moderate, considerable moderate possible here for the right around Cordova or so, Cape Yakataga, along the southern coast of the Kenai Peninsula, Barren Islands into Shelikof Straits.